has.
You didn't know?
You can say we are the in crowd.
Acknowledge us.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Stadium Rant proudly presents to you the most electrifying wrestling show in the world. We are your hosts, The Bake Show, Shake and Bake, The Nard Dog, Bernard Green, The Professor, Nicholas Mullick. We're the Ringside Boys. This is Ringside Rant. Got a heck of a lot of stuff we're talking about today, gentlemen. Not a bad thing. It's a good day to have a lot to talk about in the wrestling world. The Rock had something interesting to say of what he thinks is one of the best WrestleManias for new fans to watch. Something interesting to certainly dive into there. We got the debut of the Green Room brought to you by the Nard Dog himself. Going to talk about a little bit about what's going on in the women's tag team division. Not the best thing going at the moment, so he's got a little something to say about that. You know, we've been talking about the women's tag team division a lot, so it's only fitting. John Cena's final year in the WWE. And we're going to talk about, maybe some dream matches that we'd like to see from the boys, see what they got going on there. And is it time for the Street Profits to get with it or get lost? And do we really blame them? Lots to talk about, gentlemen. But before we get into any of that, how we doing?
Man, what a week this has been. Did you know that a few days ago was the 19-year anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's death?
It was, yes.
It's first off, my thoughts go out to his family, excluding Vicky Guerrero, for obvious reasons. Previous podcast, you'll understand why. But it's still, I can't believe it's been 19 years since Eddie died. I never really was able to watch him when I was young, but man, he was one of the greatest of all times, and it sucks he's no longer here with us, but
yeah, that is rough.
I think the thing that I always come across with, not only with his death and Benoit's death, them dying, both of them, made the business better because WWE realized they needed to clean up their drug usage. They needed to clean up all this other stuff, concussions. So it sucks that they died, but I hate what I have to say. Like, it sounds wrong for me to say this because I love Eddie, but their deaths made the business better. Not Chris Benoit's. Chris Benoit, screw that guy.
God, no.
Screw that guy.
But people, that didn't even help because people still don't believe CTE and concussion. So that didn't, at least Eddie's death, you're right, was the most recent death to happen where this generation of superstars were like the John Cena's, Orton's, Triple H's were like, we're done with this shit. We're done. We're not seeing our friends die like this anymore. I think a lot of wrestlers feel if you die in the ring because of an accident and it was something you deem safe and something freaky happened, so be it. But if you die abusing drugs, like, I think that's probably one of the worst ways, because you watch these people like slowly die, right? Like, they don't just all of a sudden drop dead. Like, behind the scenes, behind the curtains, when they go back to that locker room, like, they're friends with those people. I know kayfabe, whatever, but they're friends. They spend a lot of time together, and you watch those people slowly die and crumble away, and they don't want to see it anymore.
And the worst part is, a lot of these guys back in the day, and probably today, sadly, they die young, like in their 30s, 40s. I remembered when I was young and becoming a wrestling fan, I was going on YouTube, and one person, I forgot who it was, said, it's a miracle that these guys make past 50 sometimes with the amount of abuse that they took on their body. But yeah, it's sad. It's dark. But man, I just wanted to bring that up, that we just passed a few days ago, Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace, Eddie, man. What sucks is he was getting back on the mend with
Oh,
not only
yeah.
his life, even though he had a painkiller addiction. People forget that he did have a painkiller addiction that affected his heart, but it wasn't it just sucks, man. I really wish Eddie was around. Just rest in peace, dude.
Could you imagine, just while we're talking about Eddie, could you imagine if he was around? If he was Dom's manager?
I think he would be in Hollywood at this moment. The dude was too funny not to be in Hollywood. I
That's fair,
absolutely.
but,
Bernard, would you agree with me that you think he would be in Hollywood at this time?
Probably. I think he probably would.
he's so damn charismatic. I would believe it. But you mentioned a former United States champion, Eddie Guerrero. We don't have a new champion, gentlemen. We have a new championship. And it's not for the gentlemen. It's for the ladies. Something we've been begging and pleading for a very long time, and we hope it goes hand in hand with something else, but we've talked enough about that, and we'll talk a little bit about it later. The new Women's United States Championship was unveiled this past Friday night on SmackDown by Nick Aldis. Well deserved by this women's division that needs another attraction. The women's tag titles are not it. You have a lot of talent you could use that are not being used. And the women's tag team division was supposed to be that, because guess what? You get 4 women in the ring at once, but you can't even do that, right? So now you're going to save it with a singles division somehow, and it's going to work because it's better than the tag titles. There's no way it's worse. Knock on wood. Please.
Well, I have a question.
Women's U.S. title.
Yeah, I have a question with the women's U.S. title. Is there any announcement of an Intercontinental Women's Championship coming?
There has not been yet.
But I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Yeah, because my concern is that they're going to have that title go from brand to brand to brand and be defended everywhere. And that's the mistake they made with the tag team titles. They defended them on different brands when there was no division. And I hope if there's an Intercontinental Championship for the women's side, there's actually a planned division. Then again, the brand split's meaningless, and we'll get to it later. But yeah, I like the fact that the U.S. Championship is a thing for the women's. I've been asking for that since I think it was 2019, around the time when Bayley and Sasha were upset. And then they just gave them the tag belts to be quiet instead of a mid-card title. But I think if the person who should win that title first, you guys are probably going to disagree with me here, Chelsea Green should win that title first.
I do not disagree at all.
Me neither. Kind of. Well, I kind of iffy between her and Mia Yim, but I won't be mad at Chelsea. I won't be mad at Chelsea.
Mia Yim was more impactful with her time on television because, let's be honest, she gets, besides pay-per-views, because Chelsea's been on pay-per-views, Mia gets almost the same amount of TV time at this point that Chelsea Green does. And I think Chelsea has done more, and it's led to more appearances, including on pay-per-views. And I think she is the perfect person because, let's be honest, this is going to be some weird tournament. I'd like it to end up in a triple threat fatal 4-way match instead of a singles match, because I think that's a better way to get the belt on Chelsea. Let something crazy happen, have her win in a funny way. She doesn't got to hold the belt long, but I think you need to reward her for doing so much with, respectfully, the absolute dog shit zero she was given. And I think she's a person people want to see on TV. So hats off to Chelsea. She's well earned it. Mia Yim, absolutely. If you want to have Mia Yim beat Chelsea, I'm all for that as well. But I think Chelsea being the first person after having that spot at Money in the Bank and doing the most with nothing, I think it's hers.
I do have a fear, though, too, of who they might just bring this U.S. title to. And I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this, too. I have a fear that they're going to give this to Charlotte Flair.
No.
Just another reign for her to have, a meaningless reign. I mean, remember when she had the NXT title that one year? It was 2019 she beat Rhea in a terrible match. I mean, that was the first time they faced each other. That was a terrible match.
It was not great.
Yeah, that was a meaningless feud. I have a fear they're going to give this belt to Charlotte Flair because, Charlotte in the Bank briefcase, she'll probably get that title reign for the mid-card title, since it's clear they're going to have Tiffany Stratton take that title off of Nia Jax. But I mean, that's my fear. I don't want to see Charlotte Flair hold that belt first. I think that it should be Chelsea Green. She deserves it. I could even include Piper Niven winning it too, because she's also massively underrated as well.
Sure, yeah.
And I wouldn't complain about Mia Yim either, even though, please, WWE, change her name. Michin is a terrible name. I will never call her that. It's Mia Yim. But
I actually forgot that was her WWE name until you just said that.
It's stupid. Like, I want to know whose idea it was to name her that. Like, there should be fines for people who like name these guys these weird names, and that they need to pay a fine for the awful names that we get. You know, like
yeah, it's not great.
It's not great.
BG, what do you got on the women's US title?
Well, on that note, so this is where the segment of the good news in the wrestling industry. This is it. I'm happy for it. It was overdue, but it's here, and I'm happy that the women getting this opportunity. And I believe that either between Mia Yim or Chelsea Green get it. But to your point, being everybody saying Chelsea Green, and I say, okay, Chelsea Green should become the first woman to hold that title, and I think Mia Yim should be the second. However, I think she may need to go heel in order to do that, in order to, like you say, put a little umph in her character. And I believe she has, and like you say, Piper Niven, she's another good one, Nicholas. She she's done good work and everything. Charlotte Flair, she could win it. She could win it later on, but when she comes back, she wants the actual WWE Women's Championship. So I said she would win in the long run. Also, to Becky Lynch whenever she comes back, or the IC title whenever that comes. But I'm happy for the women in this division, and I believe Chelsea Green should win it.
For sure. Listen, so we got some other things going on. We're rapidly approaching 2025. We're less than 2 months away. 2025 being the year everybody is circling on their calendar because it is John Cena's final year wrestling in WWE. I'm sure he'll still be involved in some facets here or there, but his last year in the ring competing, he's already been confirmed to compete in the Royal Rumble match. He's mentioned the Elimination Chamber will be his last. I imagine he'll be in that match as well. And he's going to have a big match at WrestleMania. That will be his last ever. And god dang, John Cena, that was my Superman. Everyone's like, who's your favorite superhero? They're like, oh, this obviously I love Spider-Man too. But when I was a kid, John Cena, that's my favorite superhero. There's nothing this dude can't do. The things he did in the ring, the things he did outside the ring, the way he was able to reach so many generations of fans, and the way he put it, whether you wanted John Cena to win or John Cena to lose, you were there to see what happened to John Cena that night. And there's no truer words. And you couldn't, yeah. There's no truer words ever spoken. John Cena, I think, is the most effective and polarizing superstar in WWE history. Hats off to him. This year is going to be absolutely incredible. If you are a wrestling fan and, you're thinking, oh, do I go to save up some money, find the closest show he is going to be at, because you are never going to see him wrestle ever again in your life. And it's not the same as 2005 to 2009. That era, John, it ain't that. But you'll still get to see the magic. You'll still get to feel the energy. When that song hits, there ain't nothing like it. John Cena is my GOAT, and I cannot wait for this year.
Yeah, it's going to be weird not seeing Cena in the ring once he's done. The only negative with Cena through his career is how he ruined the Nexus. I mean, he doesn't really come off as a Class A type guy with the stories you hear about how he ruined the Nexus. Besides that, he's one of my favorites ever. You can't deny it. I only wonder what would have happened if Vince had, what it took to turn him heel and actually have him embrace the hate. That was another terrible storyline, but I think that was the moment he should have turned heel. And that would have been such a fun time. But I get why merchandise sales, WWE was kind of lackluster at that time, so I understood it. Everyone keeps saying he should go after the world championship, to beat the Ric Flair's kayfabe record. I don't want to see that, honestly. There's one thing I want to have happen, and that's John Cena win the Intercontinental Championship. That's the one title he's never held throughout his career. And I want to see that man hold that title in the air once before he's done. But if it's just the World Championship chase that he's going after, I understand. But I just want him to have a run with the IC belts. Not a long one, like a brief one, but probably the same length Jey Uso got with the IC title.
Braun takes it off of John as well.
Well, yes.
No. I don't. Ooh. Well, it can because I don't see nobody else beating him for it other than Braun.
Yeah, there's another fear I also have too. I have a fear that Goldberg's going to face Braun Breaker and get the title.
That'd be stupid as shit.
Well, Goldberg's got to have his retirement match, and the only acceptable one, in my opinion, that I will allow is Goldberg versus Braun Breaker. But
I agree. Unfortunately, since he's inserted himself back in the WWE universe and he's getting this retirement match that he's been whining for. Listen, I don't mean to be a jerk and be like, I hate Goldberg, but oh my God, dude. I'm just so vastly over him. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but Jesus, man. You're probably right. He's probably going to beat Braun Breaker, but that's so dumb. I think he's never going to take it on the chin in his final match. He's never going to do that. And it's just how awesome would it be for Braun Breaker to get over? It would mean way more to Braun Breaker than it ever would to Goldberg. Nobody's going to remember that match if he wins. People would remember it more if he lost.
Absolutely. That's why I said I have a fear that Goldberg's taking that title off of him. And
Jackass.
Oh God. I lost respect for Goldberg when he beat The Fiend at Saudi Arabia because he didn't need to beat The Fiend. And Goldberg twice said, "Oh, I listened to what the boss wanted and I allowed it." You have power to say no, dude. And if you cared about the business, which we all know you don't, you would have allowed The Fiend to beat you, but whatever. Vince wanted Goldberg to win and bury The Fiend in Saudi Arabia at sweet Saudi money, but
he never liked The Fiend. He didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that's my big fear is Braun Breaker loses that title to Goldberg, and then we get Goldberg versus Cena, a match we've never seen before, and I'm nervous.
So if you book it like that and you want to give me Goldberg versus Cena and Cena takes it off of Goldberg, it sucks for Braun. But boy, is that the downfall I'd look for. And you know what? That could be the only thing that saves it.
I do think that Goldberg will face, I don't want him to face Gunther, but with all the stuff that happened, it wasn't Crown Jewel, but I forgot the last pay-per-view that they had.
Bad Blood.
Yes, Bad Blood. With all the nonsense there. They teased it a little bit, had a quick little tease.
They definitely did. Speaking of teases, I think we're well past teases. I think the brand split is just kind of dead. It's like you had the excuse of the Saudi show, right? Because you want everybody on that, and there's champion versus champion, and people involved in that were crossing over. And then you had Jey Uso with the bloodline thing, and that's kind of spilled over because of War Games. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't like when there's no brand split because then there's clearly an A or a B show and there's not really as much competition. Like back in the day, there was no point in watching SmackDown. All the main storylines were occurring on Raw.
And SmackDowns were taped at that time. I think it was 2013 Tuesdays. Or at the time when Raw was the main show and SmackDown was the throwaway. It got so bad that SmackDowns were taped. That's how bad SmackDown was.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And I love the idea of a draft, but if you're not going to stick to the brand split, it's kind of like, what's the point? And I don't know. I get it. You want to have some of these superstars in as many cities as possible because of money. And I just don't know. I don't know. The other show just do better. Develop your other stars. You have a roster of talented people. There's no damn reason you can't do the same thing. And you have general managers. That is the point of general managers, is to be a pot stirrer, to be part of the show as well. And they've taken a backseat again.
Yeah, and look, I love Adam Pearson. I love Nick Aldis. They're great managers, and I hope Nick Aldis has a match in WWE because his NWA run, when Billy Corgan bought it, he was one of my favorite parts of that show. And then when he gave his notice and Billy Corgan started, doing all of his stuff, like winning Tyrus as the champion, I gave up on that brand. But with the brand split, and I gotta say this, what a disgrace that main event was. I mean, you have the tag team match where Bianca and Jade face off against Raquel and Liv Morgan, and you have Liv Morgan get pinned with Bianca Belair in the middle of the match. That's strike one. Strike two, you have Nia Jax, who, oh, by the way, doesn't have a reason why he should be there. You could make the excuse that, Jey Uso is an excuse to be on Raw. Well, Sami Zayn, they're looking for another partner. But then you had Nia Jax there, no reason whatsoever. Then you have Tiffany Stratton, who again comes across like a fool in this entire thing. The past 2 months, she's looked like a fool, like a carnival fool, like back in the old days, like a fool. Like it's crazy. And they have them attack there, and then everyone comes to the save, and then you have Io Sky come to save Jade and Bianca for some reason, and all this because you need to have a women's War Games match. And look, I'm happy that they're having a match, but there's no storyline here, and it's a waste of time. It's throw-ins. Like, this is a major problem. They aren't long-term booking this. It's short-term, throw everything at once, Vince McMahon style booking. I don't like why. What's wrong with the traditional Survivor Series match? Can someone explain to me why we aren't getting that? It's Survivor Series. I get it's Survivor Series War Games, but it's still Survivor Series. Have a traditional 5-on-5 tag match. We don't need to have it. Or maybe brand supremacy. That's what the previous Survivor Series were. You could probably have a brand supremacy type match. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
Right. Like, well, why do we need to throw all these guys in at once? Like, explain that to me, gentlemen, because it makes no sense.
You could even, if you want to do War Games, you could even do a brand supremacy War Games match.
Yeah.
Like, if you really
That's what I was
want
about
to
to say.
it. Yeah, go ahead, BG.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, do that. I mean, okay, I understand that they're trying to spice up the pay-per-view. But like I said, but like what you, Nicholas, said, I agree with you. You got have some storyline in it. Like, or you also have some storyline in it where Raw champion take on this SmackDown and NXT top champion and all, and then the same thing with the mid card titles and the tag team titles, and have the best 5-on-5 of SmackDown men and women, Raw men and women, and NXT men and women. I say, yeah, do it like that. I think maybe I say give it about maybe a year, maybe at least a year, because Triple H still trying to get things under his supervision and how he want to run WWE. So I said just maybe give it about a year, and I think we may be headed to that direction. Like what he said he hears and sees everything. So Triple H, if you happen to come by this video, listen to Nicholas, Shake, Bake, myself. Hey, we get that y'all trying to spice up the pay-per-view, but hey, spice it up with some actual long-term storytelling that actually makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like the long-term story Triple H has been doing with a lot of bookings that he's been doing here. A lot of the creative. It's a lot better than this, but in this case, like, I don't know what they're doing. Here's the worst part, and nobody's mentioning this, and I haven't watched it or looked online. Next episodes are taped. And you don't even have a complete 5-on-5 match? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the whole point if you're going to have a taped match the next week? And I'm glad they're doing that, to give the wrestlers some extra time off. But if you're going to have a big match like this and you don't even have the complete team set up yet, Why do a tape show the next week? I get Thanksgiving's the next week after that, but why have a taped show where this stuff could be spoiled? I haven't even watched the spoiled, like the articles, because I know they're posted everywhere about spoilers about the next show. I refuse to look at it because I got plenty more things to do in my life and articles to write on this beautiful website, stadiumrant.com. But it's just, I don't understand what they're doing here. Who's going to be the fifth man for Jade Cargill and Bianca's side? Like, who's it going to be? I can't even think of it. Rhea Ripley's hurt, so there's no chance that she comes back until probably Royal Rumble time. And if she comes back, then we know that WWE's rushing. They're rushing to get that belt off of Liv Morgan. When you could wait, make sure Rhea Ripley's healed off, Royal Rumble, have Rhea Ripley return and win, and then have Rhea get the title taken off of her at Mania. But point is, like, I don't know what they're doing here. And I'm sorry I'm raging over here. I was just so mad watching down Monday Night Raw. And now we're going to waste our own time here because what did they win in the end? What do these two win? And each side, like, I don't understand it. And if you are going to do a brand supremacy side type of match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are tag champs. They flip-flop on every single brand. Like, burn the tag titles. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. And I hope you guys listening understand of it. And I'm sorry I raged a little bit. Let's just move on before I go ahead and have a stroke.
Yeah, so we can talk about the Street Profits next. It's kind of getting to that point, gentlemen. They got to do something. They're not doing a darn thing right now. And Bernard, I'll let you kick this one off. Where are we at with the Street Profits?
Right now, how they say it, they're at the end of its life cycle. First of all, I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan of NXT. They are Triple Crown Tag Team Champion. But for some reason, just like I say with the New Day, it's time to go ahead and call it quit. I think it's time for both of them to do their own separate thing. Montez Ford, obviously, he's frustrated the way how he and Street Profits are being booked. I think it's time to go ahead and blow this thing up. Have them, I don't know, whether go turn on each other or agree to go separate ways to do their own thing, but it just needs to happen. Montez Ford and Andrew Dawkins, they are too talented to just stay in the tag team that they've been since the moment they stepped foot in WWE to just keep trying going after tag team titles time after time after time after time. Obviously, WWE is not doing anything or trying to put their opinion on the Street Profits becoming champions again. So I think you need to go ahead and just blow this whole thing up. Let them go on separate brands, do their own thing. I think it's time to go ahead and call it quits.
Yeah. I have a feeling that I wouldn't be shocked if they did this. I won't be shocked if the Street Profits request their release. I would not be shocked with the way that I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, like, obviously Montez is upset at the moment right now. I don't know about Angelo Dawkins, but like, wouldn't shock me if like they request their release and wanting to go elsewhere to work if you're not going to push us. And the worst part is, and WWE better get their act together here because Montez is married to Bianca. And if they request a release, there's a fear that Bianca will probably want out, especially with this known heat that's been, reported with her and Jade. But they got to do something with Montez and Angelo Dawkins. And people say, oh, a breakup could be a plan. It's too little too late for that. Like, if a breakup was going to happen, they would have started, the build up to that like they're doing with the New Day. And no offense to the New Day. I love Kofi. I love Xavier. I could care less about them right now. Like, they've never been the same since Big E left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough. And it does suck because I'm a Street Profits fan as well, but they have just done absolutely nothing. And it's not their fault. They're talented, obviously. Like Bernard said, Triple Crown champions in WWE, NXT, Raw and SmackDown tag team champions. They have it. They have a connection with the crowd. They're charismatic. Montez Ford's promos are awesome. Angelo Dawkins isn't bad either. He's gotten a lot better in the ring over the past few years. He's insanely athletic. It's just Honestly, it's kind of to the point where like I want to see him go, especially if they're not going to do anything with him in WWE, because I want them to succeed. I want them to be happy. And my theory is I wonder if when that whole Montez singles push started online, I wonder if that was just like BS rumors and it up, or not BS rumors, but like something that got leaked from backstage or something that maybe they were toying around with, and then fans got their hands on it and went crazy. And then maybe Montez dug his feet in and was like, I don't want to do that. I want to stay with Dawkins. That's my brother. We're the Street Profits. That's who we are. It's what we do. And then it seems like since then it's been kind of downhill, as well as the Bobby Lashley stuff, of course. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Montez's Ford's loyalty kind of led to like, well, if you don't want to be by yourself, we don't really know what to do with you.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think they did the same thing with the Revival too. Like they wanted Cash and FTR. They were the Revival in WWE. They wanted to stick together as a tag team. It wouldn't shock me if WWE wanted to plan them to be separate, but it wouldn't shock me. But like the thing that concerns me too is that WWE has nothing for him, and they're just going to have them return randomly at a random impromptu match on Raw or SmackDown. I don't even know what brand they are, and it doesn't even matter at this point.
SmackDown, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, kill the brand split, whatever was there. But they really got to get their act together here, because this could cause a chain reaction. And if Montez and Angelo Dawkins request a release, like I said, could be potentially something for Bianca to also request a release too. And I got another question as well that I want to ask you guys. If they do request a release, do you think WWE grants it to them?
Well, I know not Bianca, because see, Bianca's Bianca's one of the assets of WWE.
I'm saying Montez and Angelo. Do you think if those two request their release, do you think they get granted?
Well, I'll say this right here. If WWE granted the Street Profits their release when they asked for it the first time, that shows how much respect WWE has for the Street Profits right there. If I'm being real,
or they don't want them to go to AEW or Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling or New Japan. They want them to stay in WWE. That's or respect, like you said. But there's also the other thought of, they could go to AEW and make more money there, or they could, bring a big boost to that tag division in AEW.
Well, I mean, hey, you have to do what you have to do. I mean,
shit or get off the pot, pal.
Yeah.
Matt Riddle didn't do that.
No, he kept shitting and shit in the locker room.
Did you hear what Matt Riddle said about Goldberg? How he said, I settled everything with Goldberg. We're all fine. Number one, you're
Goldberg
absolutely full of it. Yeah. You're absolutely full of it, number one. Number two, you got nobody to blame but yourself, Mr. Riddle, for where you're at right now and why things didn't work out with you in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, he said that time and time again. He knows he's a jackass, and that's kind of why I don't get on him too much. Like, yeah, it sucks, but like, he knows, he's fully aware this is who he wants to be. I mean, why am I going to get so upset about it every time? And this is just how he clearly wants to live his life. I can't do it emotionally. I got too much other shit to worry about. I love you, Matt Riddle. I hope you figure it out. Anyway, Bernard, we were teasing it. Nicholas has dropped a couple of hints throughout the show as well. I talked about it in the beginning. It's your debut, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some scuttlebutt, some things we got to talk about, a little behind the curtain thing. We go to the green room, a special little place where we like to talk about things that maybe aren't always talked about. We're going to take a peek behind the curtain right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the green room. Bernard, take it away.
I appreciate it, guys. This is the green room. This is our segment. We came up about it really today. Well, really was talked about, a couple months ago, but I said I'm going to bring it up today because this story was about to tell you concerning Bianca and Jay Cargill, it's kind of been on my mind mostly all week. So I looked at professional wrestling many of us look at it as like entertainment and a fan of it. Me, of course, I'm a fan of it, entertainment, but I also look at it and take it into consideration doing consuming real life. So you there come a time where you have a best friend or a partner that you work with at working on. Y'all decided y'all come up with something, y'all decide y'all want to do it, or it could just be trying to help a friend out or a buddy out, stay at each other's place and all. So everything's all well and dandy, things all nice peaches and cream and all until time goes by when there's not. And someone feels some type of way. That's when things come in it, things go sour, all that shit. This is where we're at with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. So earlier this week, Jonathan Coachman, have you guys know Shake, Bake, Nicholas, anybody that's watching? He's a former employee of WWE. Now I don't know how you get this information, but he got interviewed by another person. I don't know who that is, and they said that how Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair have some real life heat with each other, meaning that they don't get along with each other at all in real life, but they just put on, like I say, a front or whatever, because they're women's tag team champions. They're one of the faces of the women's division, and they are, the pillars, top pillars in WWE. I read a little bit of article that's saying the reason why they don't like each other because Bianca Belair feels that she always carrying her every match. Many of us probably see it, probably myself included, and all, and that she's tired of it. So I guess back and forth. So there's reports that I look at earlier today is that WrestleVotes Bill a pillar, I think, said how there are seeds already planted for the Jade Cargill Bianca Belair split. Well, newsflash, I think Liv Morgan already planted the seeds when she did the ring segment promo with her friend Raquel Rodriguez. My thing is this. In real, and I, like I said, I take all this, look at wrestling as real life and all. It's going to come a time to where when you're on your job or you're doing a show like three of us, all things all well, all peas and cream. And like I said, I love doing this show with the two of you guys. I think are awesome, and we just getting started. But let's just say, for instance, one of us not doing our job, we're not pulling our own weight. Someone's going to feel some type of way, and we gotta have a meeting. Am I correct? Which I agree.
Yeah.
We all of us are going to have a problem. That's where Bianca Belair is at with Jade Cargill. And after I finish this segment with the Green Room, I want to ask the both of you guys questions, starting with you, Nicholas. But more of the story is that in life, whether you got a partner or not, make sure that you do the best of your abilities on try to perform on your job. Make sure you pull your own weight, because if not, shit like this is going to happen at all. Now, to you, well, first of all, this is Bernard Green. This is the Green Room. So, Nicholas, I want to start with you. You've been following Jade Cargill and AEW probably more than me and Shake. Like I said, I don't watch AEW. You already said that the women's tag titles need to be burnt to ashes.
Yes.
What are some like in your opinion? And I'm probably gonna ask this too, or you could bounce off Nicholas, however you want, Shake, Bake. But my question is to you is, what are some of the things that you probably see with Bianca Belair that Jade Cargill is not, grasping in AEW? I mean, in WWE, like she had the success in AEW. I know she was killing in AEW. She was undefeated TBS champion and all. What do you think? What Bianca Belair is being frustrated with Jade Cargill since she stepped foot in WWE? Your thoughts?
Well, I think a big reason is she's still green. She really is still green in the ring. She's been giving so many months in the Performance Center, and when she made her debut, honestly, I've seen her work in AEW and WWE. There really isn't much improvement in the ring. There really isn't. Listen, she's a lot better than I would be, and I'm pretty sure if she's listening to this right now, she would either send Brandon Phillips to beat me up with a baseball bat. You didn't know that she's married to Brandon Phillips, a baseball player. But I think a big issue is she's still green in the ring. And I forgot what match it was when she was doing like a springboard, like cross body. She botched that and slipped on the ropes. She's done it many times. she's still so green in the ring, and you could tell like the chemistry between these two is off, and I've noticed it the last few matches. And then again, the tag division is absolute garbage, but there's obviously something off with this tag team. And if Jonathan Coachman's right, which I do trust him, because he did previously work there and he does have sources. Yes, he didn't leave WWE on the right way, but that was because Vince refused to pay him, and like the payments were like something happened with his pay. And if something is affecting your pay in a company, absolutely leave that company. So I strongly recommend Jonathan Coachman. I trust him. I trust him a hell of a lot more than Dave Meltzer this year. But let me say, like, the chemistry's off. She's still green. And I can understand why Bianca is, if this is true. I do want to say, if this is true, I'm pretty sure it is.
Right.
I can understand why she's frustrated. And something, too, that people aren't mentioning, Bianca designs her own ring gear. Jade doesn't. You see how that could be a problem?
Yeah, I see. Exactly.
So I understand Bianca's frustration.
So here's my thing too. Then I'm gonna let you go, Shake Bake. It's like, I think that's why Liv brought that up too. I mean, I know it's some of these stuff is scripted and all, but I believe some wrestlers, when they say shit in the ring and I pay attention to it, it's like we're being real, because see, what Liv said, what she said in the ring, and then this comes out. Next thing you know, we're like, wait a minute, so wait, Liv do have a point. Because see, it's kind of like they're both dominant. They're both like, they want to be kind of like the EST, like what Liv said, but it can only be one. So here's my, I'll say, spoil my prediction. What's going to happen in the next month or two? My prediction is that they're going to go ahead and drop the titles, and either I got Bianca turning on Jade because she's tired of carrying Jade for all these matches, or I got Jade turning on Bianca, which I highly that's going to happen. I got Bianca turning on Jade, and then that's when I either Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez or Nia Jax or Tiffany Stratton. Well, I don't think that's going to happen either. Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, or it could be the Metaphor, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson take the titles off of Jade and Bianca. And like what I read too, is that that's the only way that y'all get the tag team titles off those women, is if they beat themselves. And then I think my also prediction is it's probably going to happen on the first episodes or a couple episodes on Netflix, where they can help build their match up to WrestleMania. So that's what I have. But Shake Bit, what you got on this whole situation?
Yeah, I think it's like going back to the women's tag team conversation, where this has gone, I think is incredibly disrespectful to Bianca Belair, much like I think the Street Profits booking has been disrespectful. The only reason is because she's in the tag picture. Bianca Belair is, at this point in this generation, your star in the women's division. There is nobody that draws better in her generation than Bianca Belair.
You could probably say Rhea Ripley.
I think Bianca gets more of the kids, though. I think she reaches.
That's fair.
And this is also, Rhea got bigger when Bianca started doing the tag title stuff, to be fair.
Right.
I think they were pretty even. They were both on the cover of 2K with Cody Rhodes. So I think that's a fair point out of you two. I think Rhea Ripley, I think I overlooked that, to be fair. But Bianca Belair, SmackDown specifically, that should be your blue chip. On the blue show. That should be who you are pushing all the time. And if she's not going to be in a world title, she better damn well be in something meaningful, because you are going to make people not forget, because we're always going to remember Bianca, but you're going to make people not care about her as much. And I don't think the general fan gives a damn about Bianca Belair right now. Unless you are an EST ride or die and you love her and you really get her potential and understand Bianca Belair, I think you're checked out, and I don't think you're wrong for feeling that way. Respectfully, I really don't. I think WWE has put you in a spot where she's on TV, but in things that don't really matter. And now you're trying to force the storyline with Liv and Raquel to try to save the damn tag titles, and it's not going to work. This is just all going to go to hell. And Jade Cargill is going to get left in the damn dust because this is going to get broken up. And Bianca's the only one that's going to come out good from it. Because if Jade wins, everybody's going to be pissed off at her. And it's not going to be heel heat. It's going to be legit heat because everybody knows she's not even close to the level of Bianca Belair. And that's shown time and time again, respectfully to Jade Cargill, nothing personal. But it's the proof is in the pudding. And I just can't sit here as a Bianca Belair fan watching her take over the stadium with that entrance at WrestleMania 39 after having a record-shattering and a history-shattering match with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania 37, overcoming her boogeyman of a horrible booking at SummerSlam and beating Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 38, and then winning at WrestleMania 39, which she
against Asuka.
Against Asuka, which was another boogeyman and another pillar to take down. And now she's barely surviving with the tag titles? Hell no.
No.
And you talk about if the Street Profits go, will she go? I would be heartbroken. But would I be surprised? Hell no.
Exactly.
She would deserve it at this point. See you later. Good for you, Bianca. Go chase what you deserve because you have been given the short end of the stick and it sucks.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. That's why it shouldn't be ruled out if the Street Profits request a release. And if Bianca's still not happy, you're going to need to figure out something.
They're going to need to.
I don't know if because they won't grant her release because I think she just signed a deal.
She did in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Here's another thing I don't understand too, and this is why I had my little rant moment in the beginning of the show. Bianca pinned the champion. She pinned Liv Morgan. And like, if you're gonna do the breakup between you two, she's still gonna have the right of going after the championship if Liv Morgan is even still the champion at that time. Like, where do you go from her? Like, where do you go from there? Like, that makes the main event of this week's Raw that bad. But this potentially is gonna ruin their plans too, because the whole idea of Jade and Bianca being a tag team was that they would have a gigantic feud to try to make Jade Cargill a star. And to be honest, my big fear is it's too little too late. And even if they do it now, it's going to be too early because Jade is green as hell.
Yeah.
And yes, shout out to
Curvin or Brew.
Yeah, I apologize, Curvin, if I mispronounced your name. He said it right. You can't make everybody happy. Like, look what happened with AEW. They tried making everybody happy with the whole Punk fiasco. And say what you want about Punk, he's nobody came off well in that situation. But releasing Punk all in all to claim that it would make everybody happy, it's impossible. I mean, if that was the case, Ricky Starks would be on our television right now. And now he's ticking time, waiting to go to WWE so he could be in NXT to be a big star. So
right. Yeah. So my thing is, so that's all it goes back to, last week when you said, I think Shake Big, you agreed too, is that when the next time they do these NXT call-ups, because Trick Williams about to come up, Roxanne Perez, Obafemi about to come up, which I think he should stay in NXT and go after the NXT title. Roxanne Perez is coming up. Cora Jade, well, hell, she might come up. Before you bring these people up to the main roster, or you sign free agent men and women to the WWE, make sure you have a proper, legit storyline for these people. Otherwise, they're going to look like dumbasses on television, and we're going to be talking about this every week.
Yeah, exactly, and hopefully that the plan isn't as bad as what they're doing with Tiffany Stratton and how they made her look like a fool these past few months. And by the way, shout out to Curvin in the chat. I was about to say that as well. Even if they do have the match, Jade's not ready. She's not. She's still green in the ring. I don't think that match is going to be great.
Again, prime example. But see, they rushed her to. My thing is another thing too. When I said in my segment, she should have went to NXT with Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, and Delta. They should just then work on her craft and all, and then she would be fine. Hell, look at Asuka. I mean, Oscar was like, they push it at NXT. Hell, she done so good that to slow her down. But you see what she did. She came to the main roster, still undefeated, which I think she should be undefeated when she first faced Charlotte Flair for the title that year on her first WrestleMania. But that's another conversation here or there.
But,
look how they polished her.
Yeah. And the only reason why Jade Cargill was on the main roster to begin with, and everyone knows why that she was brought up and not put on NXT, because she was one of the top stars in AEW, and WWE wants bragging rights, saying, "Hey, look, we got one of AEW's top pride possessions. Let's push her on the main event. Let's rush her from NXT. Yeah, we'll give her a few months in the Performance Center to hopefully get her to improve." And you rushed it. And look, I love Jade Cargill. She was great in AEW. I loved her character, excluding some of the nonsensical ways they ended the streak that she had. But I hate the way that they rushed it.
Yeah.
They have to have plans, people, and not like perfect plans, but good enough plans to make them well. Like another example, Pretty Deadly. They were rushed on the main roster too. And where are they? I mean, were they in the witness protection program?
Yes,
they got beat up last week.
But still, like their potential is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's such a
that
shame.
Elton Strong stuff was so good, and they just did nothing with it.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started about that. I love
in a wheelchair for a shoulder injury was absolutely hilarious.
But Pretty Deadly's like I've given up on them using Pretty Deadly for anything. Like they really got to do better at that. But
so I mean, we're talking about that and stuff like that. Do you think they're one of those groups that eventually in the future is just kind of let go and seeing the door? We don't know what to do with you.
I can see that happening. I got a list of 5 people who could get cut soon if you want me to go through it.
Yeah, go ahead.
And all right, first on the list, no surprise here, Giovanni Vinci. Like I said, when he got pinned on SmackDown after rebranding himself, I give it 5 months till he's released. There's no chance he's gonna come out of this looking good. Number 2, Apollo Crews. How has this man lasted on the roster as long as he's had?
Fair enough.
I mean, we said it last week. He should have been cut after the Nigerian disaster. That was really horrible. Next up, well, I'm going to group these two together. Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark. Those two, I think, the pure fusion garbage or the pure fusion Z's. Like, they're purely trying to make me go to sleep every time they're on my TV. Like, I think that Sonya, they have nothing for her. I think she's gone. And Zoe Stark, I guess she's still young. She's 27, I think. But, like, they tried so much with her. They tried putting Trish Stratus on her side. They tried this garbage. It's not working. I think she'll get future endeavored as well. What do you guys think? You guys agree with me on that?
Yeah.
All right. 2 more. Next up, look, I love them. I love the guy. He comes across like a nice guy. Akira Tozawa, I think it is probably going to be on the cut list. I'm stunned he lasted as long as he did. I mean,
if he didn't have the Tozawa dance, I don't know that he would be still here.
I agree. And I agree. I thought about putting Otis on this list, but Otis is like, he is such a nice guy. And it's clear everyone in the locker room loves the dude.
And he'll probably just do whatever just to keep a job. Like,
yes.
I don't think he cares that much. I think he's happy where he's at.
Yeah,
I agree. Blair Davenport should be next.
I was about to say Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport is number 5 on my list. I'll give you this sentence as my reasoning. Did you guys realize that Blair Davenport was called up to the main roster?
I actually 100% completely forgot about it until Kervin said it.
No.
Yeah.
First off, shout out to Kervin, man. Thank you for joining us on this show, man. You've been a treat today with your comments, dude. You really have.
The one thing I will say about I don't think we were hyping up the Jade and Bianca match. I think we were just saying it's a necessity because you need to get Bianca the hell away from Jade Cargill. And that's the only way to do it now. And I think we were excited about it because we saw the potential. And then the more we saw her in the ring, Jade, that being, we're like, okay, well, Now Bianca just needs to get away from that.
Yeah. Going back to Blair Davenport, you want to know the weird part about everyone on social media when she signed with NXT and got called up to the main roster? And this goes to show that some of these people like don't have a brain when they message stuff. You want to know what they were saying? Oh, Blair Davenport has already had a much better career than her ex, Will Ospreay, who joined AEW. Hello, Will Ospreay's in the main event. Like, what
People
are you
love
talking
Will
about?
Ospreay. Yeah, that guy's on fentanyl.
That dude is on the Will Ospreay is the best wrestler on the planet right now. There's nobody better than him.
He's insane.
People are claiming that Blair Davenport's had a much better career because she's joined WWE and she's on the main roster there. Like, are you people out of your mind? And no offense to Blair Davenport, she's great. I loved her in the independent scene, and they rushed her up to the NXT. But I could see her name being a part of the cut list. So those are my 5. My 5 were Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark. I grouped them together. Apollo Crews, Giovanni Vinci, Blair Davenport, and what was my other one? Shoot. Akira Tozawa. That's
Mr. Number 5. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty solid list, and I think it's pretty much kind of where we're headed. I mean, the writing seems to be on the wall for a lot of these folks, but I think that's a good spot to put a pin in this. Good show tonight, gentlemen. A lot of conversation. Hey, new chatter. Shout out Curvin. Knows his stuff, watches his wrestling. Appreciate your comments, pal. Keep hanging out with us every Thursday, 8:30 Eastern. We got the watch parties every pay-per-view, some big NXT ones. We're tossing around an idea of a special little episode early next year, too, for a little watch party. We'll talk about that at some point once we nail that down. But you know how we always wrap it up here, and if you're new, buckle up. It's a good one. Make sure you follow all the boys in Stadium Rant on all social media platforms. Our social media handles are right here, Stadium Rant. That's pretty easy. For more content and articles on your favorite teams, players, and leagues, check out stadiumrant.com. And as always, if you're not down with that, we got just 2 words for you. Acknowledge us.